the Long Island Lighting Company. Tonight, Harborfields takes on Babylon. Hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Landers, along with Stan Kellner, former Brentwood coach and coach at C.W. Post College. And Stan, anytime Harborfields and Babylon get together in a League 5 confrontation, it's like a little war.
It is. It's one of those heated rivalries. We've had 3 great rivalries so far on television, and this is equal to all of them.
Babylon has Matt Brust, the brother of Chris Brust, who's down at North Carolina. Stan, I know you're very high on him.
Oh, I like Matt. I remember Matt when he was a 7th grader, and he had stardom written all over him. And Lou Robinson, too, is a great player. He started out, and I remember him again as a 7th grader. Both of them matched up. Should be fabulous play.
All right, there's a big contrast in styles. Harborfield's got a big team. They go 6'5", 6'7", 6'4 up front. Babylon has just one kid over 6 foot in Brust. I think we're going to see a contrast in styles and tempo.
A whole bunch of little mushkins for Babylon, but they don't know it. They're playing like they're 6'4" and 6'5". You'll see something out there.
Harborfields won the first game by 5 points, but I know Babylon wants to win this game more than anything else.
Very badly. Greg Walsh told me that he hopes to win a lot of ball games before the end of the season, Barry. But if he wins this ball game and loses the rest of the games this season, he'll be very fulfilled.
All right, Harborfields comes in with a record of 7-2 in League 5 play behind Wyandanch. How good is Wyandanch?
Wyandanch, very good. Big question mark how far they'll go in the counties. They got a lot of talent. They play a little bit out of control at times. They probably are the premier team in this league.
Everett Oliver's a guy we'll be keeping our eyes on for Babylon. He'll be a key factor, and also a young fellow by the name of Brusha.
Brusha has to be bruising today. He's going against Gregory and Bailey inside. He's only 6 feet, and that's stretching it a little bit, Barry. He's going to have to do a heck of a job. As you said, Everett has to do a job bringing the ball up. He plays inconsistency. Big question mark.
So the stage is set, and what shapes up as a dandy, the crowd very much involved, and Stan and I will be back with starting lineups in just a moment.
When it comes to electricity, safety is the name of the game.
Landers and Stan Kellner back at courtside at Babylon High School as we get set for what shapes up as a heck of a ball game. A good crowd on hand. Roy Coble, the athletic director, former coach at Babylon High School. He coached this team to a couple of championships. What a great team that Babylon had back in the mid-70s, Stan. It was the likes of Glenn Vickers, Brian Vickers, Barry Davis, Steve Farley, Chris Brust, who's down at North Carolina, and Jerry Barker. They had a team that I think won something like 37 in a row. Back at 74-75, they were the Long Island champs. They beat Southside and Malvern back-to-back, and I think for the first time they established in the eyes of people on Long Island that Suffolk County could play basketball, really, with the Nassau kids.
Well, Roy Coble had a great team there. In fact, they beat us by 2 points in a semifinal or a quarterfinal game. I'll never forget that ball game. But Roy Coble is still in this gym, you know. That's his offense being played by Babylon tonight.
All right, Babylon coached by Greg Walsh, a record of 6-8 overall, 3-5 in the league. Greg in his 5th year as head coach, and Harborfields coached by Joe Mayer in his 11th year at this fine school. Harborfields, they've had a great tradition. 10 years before that at Massapequa. What a great coaching career Joe Mayer's had.
Joe is a very good friend of mine, and not only does he coach basketball so well, but he's an outstanding football coach, winning 12 championships out of 15 years as an assistant football coach, both in Berner and at Harborfield.
All right, so you can see the enthusiasm of the fans on the far side. The officials for tonight's game, referee Hank Schwab and John DiClemente. And we'll now have the starting lineup first for the visitors from Harborfield. The Harborfield Tornadoes. With a record of 11-4 overall and 7-2 in league play. As we'll see the guards first, starting at one guard. Number 22, Dave Margolin, 6 foot, 170-pound senior, averaging 8 points. He had a high of 16 against Babylon. At the other guard spot, number 42, the point guard, 6'4", 181 pounds, the senior, Lou Robinson, averaging 17 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds, one of the tri-captains. Starting at one of the other spots. Number 24, Robert Gregory. Bob Gregory, 6'7", 194-pound senior, averaging 9 points and 8 rebounds. He had a high of 16 against Islip. Number 10, Andrew Wirt, starting at another forward spot. Andrew, 6'2", 176-pound senior, averaging 8 points. He's a tri-captain. And number 40, junior David Bailey. David, a 6'5", 180-pound junior, averaging 13 points and 7 rebounds. He had a high of 22 against Wyandanch in their first game. And now for the homestanding Babylon Panthers. They'll be starting at guard. Number 12, Matt Lazarus. 5'7", 140-pound senior, averaging 3 points a game. A kid they say is all heart. At the other guard spot, number 30, 5'9", 155-pound senior Everett Oliver. They call him Munchie, and he's averaging 13 points. Co-captain, averaging 13 with a high of 24 against Half Hollow Hills West. Number 50, starting at center, Matt Rust, the 6'5", 180-pound sophomore, averaging 24 points. He had 41 against Amityville earlier this year. Number 20, sophomore Billy McGowan, 6'1", 160-pounder, averaging 4 points. He had a high of 10 against Wyandanch. And the other starter, forward, number 32, James Bruscia, 6'2", 170-pound senior, and one of the captains, averaging 11 points, a high of 21 against Islip. So, Stan, there you have the starting lineups, and I know we've been looking forward to this one.
Well, the plot is set. It's a big League 5 ball game, and let's see how the players play out their roles.
Well, Babylon, a very inexperienced team. Their weakness has been turnovers at times, but they've been improving in that area. They're not a great shooting team either, and we'll see what happens tonight as the crowd here at Babylon High School rises for the playing of our national anthem. Moments away from starting this League 5 confrontation. Babylon with the league record of 3-5. They have lost so far in league competition to Wyandanch twice, to Harborfields, Amityville, and Half Hollow Hills. They've beaten Islip, Glen, and Half Hollow Hills in their last ball game by 22 points. And for Harborfields, in league competition, they've beaten Hills West twice, Glen twice, Babylon by 5, Amityville by 15, Islip by 19. Their only 2 losses to Wyandanch by 8 and to Wyandanch by 1 point in their last game at Wyandanch. So we're ready to get this one underway. Russ jumping at center, the big guy, number 50, and the tap is controlled by Harborfields. They like to set a fast pace. The shot put up and missed that time, and the rebound pulled down by Babylon. Dave Bailey missing the shot. This is Everett Oliver, 30, with the ball. And Stan, what's the Babylon philosophy about where they'll shoot from?
Well, they'll shoot only from inside. A perimeter shot for them is 15 feet out. You'll see an inside game. They want to get to the foul line. That's their objective. And the best way to do that is attack the boards.
All right, that's Lazarus, 12, Oliver, 30. We'll identify the boys for you. Matt Brust, brother of Chris Brust, who can shoot from out there and is a dominant force inside. 32 is Jim Bruscia. Oliver knocked away, and it'll stay Babylon ball. John DiClemente to hand the ball at the sideline.
Barry, Harborfields is in a 2-3 zone, and Harborfields has a surprise in store for them. Babylon's going to play a 2-3 zone. They never do this.
Well, Babylon usually a man-to-man team under Greg Walsh and, of course, Roy Coble before that. Everett Oliver with the ball. Oliver, the 5'9" senior. Russ, just a sophomore, and as we said at the outset, many people feel that he may even be the best sophomore ever to play in Suffolk County basketball. He's that far advanced at this stage in his career. And you had him in summer camp. I know that for a few years already, as you mentioned at the outset. And as the game progresses, I know we'll talk more about that young man with the ball now.
Yes, number 50, broad-shouldered. You can't believe it, but he's only a sophomore. He seems like he's been playing forever.
Rust putting it up, no good, and the rebound yanked down by Bobby Gregory, the 6'7" senior. That's Lou Robinson with the ball, the 6'4" point guard, spinning it up, and drew the foul against Matt Rust, I believe. Oh, that's one guy they can ill afford to get in foul trouble.
Harborfields ran a secondary fast break. There's Joe Mayer making an adjustment to himself right now, but no one important out. Everybody that's important on his team is out there on the court. Louis went to the glass, drew the foul. Now you see Louis going through a little bit of a cybernetics. We've worked with him over the years, and he's I hope I don't jinx him, but he's been shooting around 72%, and he's really clutch from the free throw line.
Lou had a high of 22 points against Comstock, and he had 20 points in his last ball game against Wyandanch.
What Louis is doing now is mentally shooting the shot and seeing the back of the ball go over the front of the rim.
That's part of cybernetics, and Stan, I know that you've written some books about it. You work with a lot of teams with that.
Barry, I just want to say thank you to Lou for that, for making those two baskets.
He made you look good. A lot of folks don't know exactly what cybernetics is, and we'll try to drop it in at the halftime, or perhaps during one of our timeouts here. Lazarus to Oliver. Bruscia's number 32 in the corner. That's Brust. 50, that's Bruscia. Babylon will go from shots inside like that. The fake up, no good. Bruscia missing inside. The follow by Brust. No basket. John DiClemente making the call. And we'll have a foul called on Harborfields before the shot.
The foul is on Margolin. What Margolin did wrong was a block out, but he blocked out illegally. He used his back end and he pushed Matt Brust.
Well, this figures to be a ball game in the 50s. Babylon averaging 57, giving up 57 points. Harborfield scoring around 62 and giving up around 50.
They're going to be very, very, very deliberate in this game. If they get ahead, you better watch out. They're going. The Tornadoes are going to be in trouble.
Margolin committed that foul, as Stan pointed out. That was his first. Harborfield's leading by 2-0. Oliver blocked that time by Bobby Gregory, the 6'7" center. And Harborfields comes up with the ball quickly into forecourt. Gregory inside. They play a physical game, and banking it in, Andy Wirtz, the 6'2" senior, 176-pound tri-captain, averaging 8 points.
What I really appreciated on that play, Bob Gregory had a shot of 18 feet, but he took one dribble in and dropped it into Andy Wirtz, which was a real team play.
Inside, laying it up off the glass and drawing a foul, Jimmy Bruscia, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. As we see, the veteran official, Hank Schwab. I remember Hank coaching back in the days when you were coaching, Stan, some of those Suffolk County basketball championships.
Officiating right. Hank is a great official. And this is the first time in my life, Barry, that I have the last word on Hank Schwab. Hank, I want to tell you a few things. If you're watching this TV program, you're a great guy.
Stan Kellner, former coach at Brentwood, coached Brentwood to a couple of county championships, coached for 3 years at C.W. Post, as we look at Bruscia roll it in to make it 4-1. Jimmy's a 70% free throw shooter. And Stan, that's part of the Babylon game plan. They have been outscored from the field in just about every game this year, but they go to the free throw line and stay in the ball games and win some games with great free throw shooting.
And they don't turn over the ball that often. So they're a very well-coached ball club. Greg Walsh knows what he's doing.
All right, Harborfields with the ball. They lead 4-2. That's Robinson, 42. Lou Robinson inside Gregory. Wirtz. And the shot by Bailey. The basket will apparently count. Yes, Hank Schwab says it will count. And there's Joe Mayer, the veteran coach of 21 years. He's got to be happy with that call.
Greg Walsh came into this game with a game plan that he was going to play back on a 2-3 zone. I got a feeling he's going to be out of it soon because he's got to come up and pressure up on the Tornadoes. The Tornadoes have a very low tolerance for excitement, and what I mean by that is they turn over the ball. The more excited they become, the more they turn over the ball, and that's what he's got to do to exploit the Tornadoes.
Bailey with a three-point play, and it's now 7-2. Harborfields by 5 in the early going here. We've played 3.5 minutes of the first quarter. Barry Landers and Stan Kellner in our local basketball game of the week. Hope that you're enjoying it wherever you're watching in Nassau, Suffolk, and get those letters to Loco and to Cablevision. Thrown away, and it'll be off of Jimmy Bruscia, who doesn't awfully turn the ball over. But that time it went off his leg, so Harborfield finding Babylon in a little bit of a shaky spot right now as they lead at Harborfield 7-2. That's Wirtz outside. Robinson posting down low. Nice flip shot. Soft fingertip roll, and it's 9-2.
What Louis did was went behind the defense, and that's what you do against zones. You'll see this on the replay. Louis goes behind the zone, and that's the cut on a zone, behind it. On a man-to-man, the cut is over the top.
All right, back to the live action. Oliver loses the ball. Harborfield's coming up with the steal. They lead by 7 as Robinson brings it across. Bailey with the turnaround. And Brust pulls down the rebound. Strong rebound from Matt Brust. Babylon needs a basket here, Stan, to kind of steady things down.
Well, they need a basket also. They got to up-tempo it on defense. They're just not going to win the ball game if they just lay back in that 2-3. My opinion, of course.
Lazarus throwing it away. As Robinson comes across, one more basket. They may be forced to call timeout. Margolin missing the bank shot off. And Babylon back with the ball with 3:10 to go. They trail 9-2.
This is reminiscent of the first game they played. Harborfields ran it up early in the game, but as soon as the Babylon loosen up a little bit on defense, you're going to see them come back. But the most important thing at this point is to stay close. And right now they're only 4 baskets behind.
So Oliver will play it in under the basket. Oliver getting it inside. Brust triple teamed and loses the ball. Robinson pushes it across and is fouled from behind. It'll be a non-shooting foul, and on the team, I believe that'll be their 3rd foul. And let's see who it's going to be on. Oliver already has a couple of fouls, I believe. They're not very deep, Babylon. And we've had our first time out. So we'll pick up that last foul. Was on Bill McGowan, number 20 for Babylon. Non-shooting foul, and Stan, so far it's been Harborfields in the early going.
It's been Harborfields because Harborfields has been able to deliberately set up their offense and get the ball inside. The Panthers are playing a 2-3 zone. As I said before, I don't know how effective they're going to be with the 2-3 zone.
There's a look at Harborfields and their fine coach, Joe Mayer, and their assistant, Richie Hoffman, standing by. And Harborfields, of course, had a great team a couple of years ago, a couple of great players in Brett Vera, who was at the University of Kentucky, and Danny Sullivan, who's the captain of the George Washington team. And there you look at the Babylon club. And Babylon lost 4 starters from last year's team. Wayne Smallwood, who's at Oswego, Steve Schlesser at Binghamton, Timmy Schweitzer at Coast Guard, and Glenn Bushy. And Joe Mayer winding things up in the huddle there.
You notice that Joe's hair is the same color of the hair of all his players. He dyes his hair the same color as players, and that's the kind of commitment he has to his team.
Harborfields last year was 9-9 and only 3-9 in league play, so they've really turned things around this year. 7-2 with a couple of tough losses to Wyandanch, marring their record. And we've got a 5 turnover.
See what they've done, Barry? During the timeout, they've gone into their man-to-man, and they're creating turnovers, and that's what they've got to do. The Tornadoes are a very emotional team. They're going to be great as long as they stay cool.
Well, they really have not had great leadership, surprisingly, at times, as Lazarus gets it to Oliver. Babylon down by 7, 2:45 to go in this opening period. Bruscia looking down low, can't find Brust. Goes cross-court, Lazarus. Brust trying to post, triple teamed inside. Open shot, missed that time by Bruscia. And the rebound, a foul called. And Bruscia will be going to the line. Bruscia's a tough kid. He's the co-captain, averaging 11 points. And he plays very hard. gives up 3 or 4 inches usually against much bigger guys as he is tonight, Stan. He's a fine student. He's the student council president, one of the top students in the school, and he's headed to the University of Pennsylvania, the Wharton School of Finance. And his dad happens to be the principal here, and a guy you'll be interviewing at halftime.
We may be working for Jimmy Brucci before it's over with.
Quite an outstanding young man. Jimmy misses. He's averaging 70% from the line. And we'll have our first substitution. Harborfields going to send in number 52, Oliver Clough, 6'5", 190-pound senior. And he comes into the ball game averaging 4 points and 5 rebounds. He's a versatile kid, very physical, plays the power game, and we'll look at him in a moment. Number 52 as Brucia connects, and it's now 9-3. It's 1 of 2. He has all 3 points, Brucia does, as Robinson will bring it across. Pressure put on, and it's thrown away. Wirtz couldn't handle the pass from Robinson. And that's the second straight turnover for Harborfield State.
Yeah, Everett Oliver did a fantastic job on Lou Robinson. He denied his right hand, forced him to his left. There was a backdoor play, but the pass was too high.
Oliver working outside to Brust, who's come out after couldn't get him the ball inside. Brust can hit the shot outside. They're trying to isolate him. He goes baseline, and 3 green shirts. Nice pass off to McGowan, who puts it up and in. The sophomore making it 9-5.
The play was made possible because this play was made possible because Matt Brust made penetration, dropped it off. No one helped out and got number 20, Phil McGowan.
3 men had dropped off on Brust, and he comes up with the steal. So things have turned around. That's the 3rd straight time that the Harborfields club has turned the ball over on offense. 1:30 to go. Babylon can cut the deficit to 2 as Lazarus finally picks up the dribble. To Oliver. In the lane, fumbles the ball and loses it. Wirtz to Robinson. Robinson baseline, scoops it up. Robinson with 4 points. And it's now 11-5.
Here's Louis Robinson coming down with his right hand, a little stutter step inside, and a little alley-oop pass, shot.
In the corner, McGowan gets the roll. Billy McGowan with 2 in a row. And now Babylon finding the range. He has 4. It's 11-7. And the big guy so far, Matt Brust, has been shut out so far. And Babylon is going to have to get that 24-point performer going. Inside Robinson, he's just posting people down low. They've got nobody his size up front to play him.
Tornadoes are playing a 1-4 offense up high, and they're going to get a lot of backdoors using this offense.
Brucia faking, draws the foul. Yes, no. The foul is before the shot, and Hank Schwab says no basket.
Good call by Hank Schwab. It's one of the few good calls by Hank Schwab. Hank, this is on film, and Hank seeing this. You know, I've been watching him officiate for all these years. I love the guy. He's probably one of the best officials in the county. In fact, I would say he's number 2 official in the county. There's a first place tie with all the rest of the officials in the county.
Stan, you had so many friends among officials.
No, I'm just loving this game. I hope these guys forgive me at the end of this game.
Butch Delicade may not talk to you after this telecast. Oliver Clough, that's his first foul on him. The basket, of course, did not count, but Babylon retains possession. They trail by 6, 13-7. 31 seconds to go. Brust, nice pass off. McGowan hammered as he went down the lane. Schwab, he's very emphatic.
Very adamant.
Very emphatic with his calls, Hank Schwab.
It's very difficult to argue when someone makes a call like that and physically demonstrates the play.
So we'll look at Billy McGowan at the free throw line. Wirtz draws his first. That's the team 5th. They're over the limit. Babylon with 3 team fouls, so they have 1 more to give. McGowan, a tough competitor, plays basketball, football, and baseball. He's a quarterback and a defensive back in football. Needs some polish on his offense. Normally a good free throw shooter at 80%, but he missed that one, a big 1-and-1. So Harborfield leading by 6 with 19 seconds to go.
Babylon's gone into a 1-3-1 half-court trap. Right now they're playing it clean. They're not trapping.
Keep an eye on the clock. Down to 8 seconds. Wirtz. Robinson in the corner. Inside. Bailey loses the ball. And we have a tie-up right there. Number 52, Oliver Clough, coming up with the ball along with Jimmy Brucia. And we'll jump it up.
Dave
Lowe
Bailey.
at 6'5", and Brucia at 6'2".
Dave Bailey is the only 11th grader out there, the only junior out there. If there's one weakness on David, it's that he doesn't have soft enough hands. That's a nice way of putting it.
Well, Dave is a tight end in football and track. Maybe he catches the football better than he does the basketball.
But he's gotten 7.3 rebounds a game, which is a nice statistic to have.
Well, he's got nice size, 6'5", 180. Seems to have long arms, too. Well, Hank Schwab waiting for the two guys to get set for the tip. Robinson puts it up with 1 second. No good. That'll do it. So, after it looked like Harborfields was going to break open to a big 7-8 point lead, it's now after 1 quarter as Joe Mayer talks things over with his troops. Harborfields 13 and Babylon 7. Stan and I will be back with second quarter action from Babylon High School in just a moment.
If you're thinking of installing a new TV or CB antenna, there's something we hope you'll keep in mind. Power lines. Every year, some people don't, and the results are tragic. Select the site for your antenna carefully, so if it falls while you're installing it or even years later during a windstorm, it won't come down on a power line. It's an important precaution, especially when you consider the consequences. Treat electricity with respect. There are lives on the line.
Babylon High School, the scene of some great teams and great tradition here, not only in basketball, but in wrestling and football, as we look around and see so many pennants here. What a great tradition this school has had, one of the smaller schools, but a great athletic and academic tradition as well, Stan.
Isn't there a lot of enthusiasm in this gym? It's a very, very attractive gym in baby blue color. I just like this atmosphere. Not only are there nice fans out there, but there are nice kids on the court.
And we'll look at Matt Brust. Stan, what about Brust having to take charge a little bit?
Well, Matt has got to get into the flow of things. I like what Matt's doing because he's dropping the ball off. He's not forcing his offense. He'll take over when it comes time.
Off the tip goes to Harborfields. Nice play by young Mr. Everett Oliver. Anticipation as he jumped and came up with a big steal. Everett showing some good leaping ability. Brucia in trouble. Forcing the ball is going to be called for a 3-second violation. Now, that's not the play that Greg Walsh would have preferred there.
The problem with that particular player, the guards were too far away from the offense, and the pass was it was too deep of a pass to make from the guard position.
Robinson, Lazarus knocks it off his leg. And it'll stay Harborfield's ball, 13-7. The Tornadoes are leading the Panthers. Robinson, who's been the big gun, missing, and Brucia has the rebound. This is Oliver. Babylon down by 6. Trying to avenge an early season loss to this Harborfields team, which has lost only twice in the league to Wyandanch. Overall, Harborfields 11-4. Oliver banking it in. And the senior co-captain now with 2 points.
On this replay, you'll see that if the guards are going to score, they're going to have to penetrate. And this is a situation, Everett Oliver, number 30, penetrating and knocking it softly off the boards.
Ball was knocked out of bounds in the live action, and it'll stay Harborfield's ball. Leaving the ball game for Harborfields, Dave Margola, number 22. And checking into the ball game for the first time, number 14, Jay Greenwald. 6'2" senior, a good shooter, averaging 4 points. And a good free throw shooter.
Tornadoes lose very little when Jay gets into the ball game.
Good steal that time by Everett Oliver, and Bailey all over him. So Babylon trailed by as many as 8. They can cut it to 2 here. Good rebound inside by Brucia, and he was fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. And the Babylon folks up off the bench. The Babylon coach, Greg Walsh, and the fine assistants for the Panthers, Bob Mayo and Donnie Barch, as we look at John DiClemente with the call, and we've had a timeout taken on the court.
Coach Mayer is very upset at that particular play. Unfortunately, he gave up a 15-foot shot, but that's not what bothered him. The fact that they're not boxing off underneath the basket. And I think it was Jim Brucia that got the rebound and faked up and threw the ball from his chest rather than over his head. He's 6 feet, but he protected the ball very well inside.
Stan, as we look at Joe Mayer talking to his club, I know you've worked with that team with cybernetics, and maybe you could explain exactly what cybernetics is.
Well, it's the inner game. You know, it really teaches 3 internal skills: relaxation, concentration, and self-confidence through mental visualization. It's a lot of basketball, but on the court, but it's also a lot of basketball off the court. You sort of expand your practice by doing a lot of visualization, seeing yourself succeed. You become what you think about. So if you start thinking positive thoughts, eventually you become a very positive player.
Now, besides Harborfields, are any other teams on the island practicing that in some of the colleges?
We teach it at our camp, at the Mitch Kupchak Yes I Can basketball camp at CW Post every summer. It's a 2-week day camp, and we have players from all over the county there.
All right, we'll talk some more about it if we have time as we look at Bruscia miss again. And this young man with 3 points. 70% free throw shooter, puts the second one in. So he's 2 for 4 on the night from the line. It's down to a 3-point game, 13-10. 6:36 to go in the low-scoring first half as Lou Robinson plays it outside. Haviland back to a little bit of his own defense, right?
1-3-1. They're switching defenses almost every time down.
Inside to the big guy, powering his way inside, Oliver Clove. And the 6'5" senior, averaging 4 points, gets his first deuce of the night.
Holly seems to be under control. That's a good sign for the Tornadoes.
Bruscia from 14 feet, and it's 15-12. Again, Matt Brust has not been able to get the ball. 6 points for Bruscia. From the corner, Jay Greenwald plowing his way inside, and it's going to be a blocking foul on Babylon. It's going to go against Jimmy Bruscia. Substitution for Harborfields as Joe Mayer has made a move here. Coming back into the ball game, number 22, Dave Margolin.
Barry Johnson.
Actually, Margolin's going to have to wait because he was going to come in for number 14, Jay Greenwald. So Margolin's going to stay at the sideline as we watch Greenwald shoot the free throw stand.
Well, I was just going to mention that that was a charge, a block, I should say, and that's one of the toughest calls to make in basketball from an official's point of view. Charge and block. Probably they'll decide on to eliminate that completely and just give the ball to the other team next year.
Well, Jay hits 2 free throws, and he's going to leave. He's a smart player on the county championship tennis team that Harborfields has had. And it's got good shot selection, hits a couple of free throws there to make it a 5-point lead for Harborfields, 17-12.
Harborfield's playing their zone press. They're trying to recapture the tempo again.
And it'll be played from side court by Everett Oliver. Hank Schwab to hand the ball. Oliver looking and took too long. I think he may have even stepped over the end line. Hank Schwab making the call. A costly turnover for the Panthers. So it'll be Harborfield's ball. Robinson and Oliver. Interesting matchup there. Oliver giving up about 8 inches. Shot missed by Wirtz. And up again, Babylon with a chance to close within 3 here. Lazarus forcing it up in the lane, no good. Rebound McGowan, rejected nicely by Wirtz. And coming up with the ball, Margolin to Robinson. Forces the shot up, and traveling going to be the call. And Schwab making the call, and the ball goes over to Babylon.
Whenever in doubt in the charge or block, call a walk.
Here's Greg Walsh, the young coach who's done quite a job. Greg played with Ralph Willett at St. Dominic's. Outstanding high school basketball player. Ralph, of course, the coach at St. Dominic's now. Robinson commits the foul, number 42, and had a word for Johnny DiClemente, the official. Or check it at the 22.
David Margolin, yeah. That's a silly foul. I don't mind fouls inside when you're fighting for the boards or intimidating someone, but when you foul out 80 feet away from the basket, it's a silly foul.
At the line, Everett Oliver, who plays football here for Babylon and was all-league halfback, runs track. Hits the first. He'll have another. He's a 60% free throw shooter. Munchie, as they call him, averaging 13 points, 5 assists, 4 steals. co-captain, had a high of 24 earlier this year against Half Hollow Hills West.
Munchie's mom was watching Wizard of Oz when she went into labor and had Munchie, and Munchie came out with number 30 on his chest.
Turnovers have been a problem for Everett at times. Sometimes he takes a bad foul, but he hits a couple of big ones there to close the gap to 3 again. 5:02 to go. Stan, you sense that this is going to come down to the wire, the way
Oh,
these
it has
two
to
teams
be.
are playing.
This has to end that way. It's too exciting of a match.
Like that Massapequa-Burner rivalry.
Right. Two really fine coaches.
And a whistle and a foul called. It's going to be an offensive foul. It's going to go against Jay Greenwald, who's back in, number 14. And reporting back into the ball game, Bobby Gregory, 24, as Oliver Clough, number 52, is going to sit down. Jay Greenwald having some words with Coach Mayer. That's the second on Greenwald. So, Stan, this is the first time Babylon could cut it to within 1 here if they get a bucket here. And incredibly, Matt Brust has been held scoreless as Brust throws it in. Oliver didn't see the ball.
That's a bad sign for Harborfields, because there you see the Panthers in a ball game without Brust scoring. What will happen when Brust starts to score?
Speaking of Brust, triple teamed and traveling as he tried to work his way down the lane. So Matt a bit frustrated, perhaps?
Yeah, he's a little frustrated. He picked up his back foot before he laid the ball off his hand for the dribble.
Well, he comes from a great basketball family. Chris, one of the stars in that great Babylon team. Robinson throwing that looked like an alley-oop, and it ended up going off the backboard.
No reason to throw that pass that far away from the offense.
So again, Babylon with a chance to cut it to 1. 4:16 to go. Second quarter. Oliver. Inside Brust. Triple teamed again. The turnaround. No. Rebound. McGowan puts it up. No basket. We had a foul called inside. And Hank Schwab says no basket. And he made a call there, Stan. Hard to pick out what the call is. I think he called officials time. The boy was hurt down in the lane. I don't know. He's talking things over with Greg Walsh now.
Well, I don't know. He was freewheeling in there. Henry Schwab was. I don't know what the call is.
Bob Mayo and Donnie Barch, the two assistants, looking on, wondering as well. And now
it may be a free throw. There may be a foul on Bob Gregory.
Gregory was the boy who was down in the lane, number 24. Well, the official did call a timeout because the man he felt was helpless under the basket, Bob Gregory, and so he called time. There's Joe Mayer shouting instructions.
That was a good move by Hank Schwab.
Yeah, that boy could have been seriously hurt.
Right.
Lazarus coming out of the pack with it. Nearly travels, and I think they got him for it. Yes. Well, Babylon looks like they need some leadership in the backcourt a little bit.
Right. Barry, the guards are getting a little impatient, and they're trying to take over. And rather than run their very methodical pattern, they'll get the shots, but they've got to work off of the pattern.
Harborfields by 3, 3:50 to go. Robinson, who's done most of the scoring, played tightly by Bruscia. And we got a whistle on the rebound and a foul call. John DiClemente making the call outside. It'll be on Harborfields, a reaching in foul over the back, so Babylon will go to the free throw line to shoot. It's going to be on Robert Gregory, and Stan, that's an important foul. 3 on their big 6'7" center.
Bob always gets into foul trouble.
Hasn't reached his potential, really.
No, well, in that particular situation, I didn't know really where Mr. DiClemente wanted Bob Gregory to go. He jumped straight up, but evidently he bumped him with his chest.
Matty Lazarus, a 61% free throw shooter, averaging a couple of points. He's a kid who plays with heart out there, takes the charge. He's a wide receiver in football, and he'll generally play the top offensive guard. Has a little bit of trouble handling the ball, but Matty can close to within 1 here for his team. They were down by as many as 8 here in the first half. Now they trail by 2. And still trail by 2. Brust taps it back outside of McGowan. And Oliver with it. Inside, Brust makes the good move to the basket, and he gets his first bucket to tie up the game.
He got that first bucket, Barry, because he kept the ball alive. This is a super play because he kept the ball alive. There was a missed shot. He tapped it back, went back into position, got the ball. He earned that basket.
And back to the live action. Harborfields commits a foul, and they turn the ball over, rather. And it will be Babylon ball under the basket. So Babylon, a chance to take the lead for the first time here with 3:25 to go in the first half. Oliver into the big guy. Brust misses, but doesn't miss the second time. Babylon by 2, Brust with 4.
Matt hadn't scored, as you mentioned, until these last 2 series on the court. But what he's done is played within himself. He hasn't played outside himself and tried too hard.
And Bruscia with the rebound, so the tide has turned to Babylon. Robinson went down looking for the charge, didn't get it. Oliver with his team leading by 2. In the corner, driving baseline, McGowan. Babylon has run off 8 in a row to lead 21-17, and they're going crazy here at Babylon High School. Andy Wirtz travels. So Joe Mayer up off the bench. He wants timeout. And listen to the fans here at Babylon as the Panthers have roared back, down by 8. They have taken the lead 21-17, and we've got timeout on the court. Stan?
Well, Babylon is doing what they do so well. They're going to the basket. They're squaring off to the basket. They throw the ball from the chest. That's excellent for anybody that's a viewer out there watching this ball game and wants to be a player and wants to learn how to go to the basket. You just watch the Babylon Panthers drive to the basket. They're so effective.
And right now on the court, the Harborfields varsity cheerleaders out there as we look at Joe Mayer. And we'll identify the girls. We'll get a shot of them momentarily. The coach, Virginia Hamlet. The captain, Marguerite Stokes. Co-captain, Donna Johnston. Rest of the squad, Sue Clenard, Angela Tenaccio, Sarah Adler, Lynn Racinello, Kathleen Gallagher, Elaine DeRosa, Lila Attar, Sheila McConnell, Lindsay Cody, and Joyce Fisher. And we'll identify the Babylon girls when we see them next. And Stan, it's turned out to be another dandy here on high school basketball. And we've got a couple of good games coming up. Our next telecast will feature Brentwood going up against Connecticut with an outstanding big man
By the name of Chuck Everson.
Chuck Everson, and we'll see North Babylon with what many feel may be the best team in Suffolk County going up against Jerry Smith's always pesky and hard-to-beat West Islip team.
Yeah, they've gotten blown out against North Babylon the first time around, so we'll see a different game plan for Jerry Smith.
Babylon with the ball now. They lead by 4. They've run off 8 in a row. McGowan, who's been a big comeback man here, looking down low. Bruscia back outside of McGowan. Oliver penetrating. Scoop. 10 straight points for Babylon. They lead 23-17.
Now it's up to Lou Robinson to stay cool. Well, they've moved them inside. They moved them off the boards, and they put them in the corner.
And that's Robinson with a shot, a whistle, and we've got a foul called. It'll be against Babylon. Stan, the tempo of this game turned around when you very adroitly pointed out that Babylon, which started out in that zone, went to the man-to-man. It created a couple of turnovers defensively, and Harborfields has been shaky a few times down the court after that.
Right. Babylon is a very enthusiastic ball club. They've been thinking about this game all week. Their adrenaline was flowing. And when you sat them back in that 2-3 zone, they just had too much tension. You've got to spend a little bit of that tension on defense, and then you can go at offense. But they were very patient on offense, and they're doing what they do so well.
Robinson with 8 points, shooting the first of the 1-and-1, and he's hit 3 for 3 from the line. Stan, as you look at the cybernetics in action here, he's visualizing right now. Have you had players come back and tell you it's really helped them?
Oh, yes, too many times. I wouldn't be in the game and been so, had these camps all across the country without being effective. You can't be a phony and introduce something to kids. It's got to work.
And Robinson hits 4 for 4. After 10 straight points were run off, it's now a 4-point lead for Babylon with 2:05 to go. They lead 23-19. Brust passing off in traffic, and he commits the offensive foul. Well, Matt got himself caught with nowhere to go, and that's his second foul.
He got caught with a one-step power move, 6 steps away from the basket, and Hank Schwab made a nice call.
That's the second.
You hear that, Hank? Are we even yet?
Stan and Hank go back a long way. I think he refereed that championship basketball game that we televised many years ago when you lost to Walt Whitman, Stan.
No, he didn't. No. I remember who it was, and I'll get them later on.
Rust with a big rebound, and Babylon by 4 with 1:44 to go in the first half. Everett Oliver guarded very tightly over there. McGowan looking for help. And we have a foul called. It's going to be on Lou Robinson.
Unnecessary foul by Lou, and he knows it. You don't want to stop the game. You don't want to put a Panther on a free throw line. This is where they're so effective. They're effective from the blocks and the free throw line. That's where they want to get.
So here's Billy McGowan. As we pointed out, Babylon generally is outscored game after game from the field, but they win at the free throw line. They're shooting 71.5% as a team, which is exceptional for high school teams, Stan. Most high school teams shoot in the 60s.
Excellent, 71, and Harborfields is right behind them. They're shooting 69, 70% themselves.
McGowan, an 80% free throw shooter, and he has 7 points tonight. He is 1 for 1 from the line. And he gives his team a 6-point lead, the biggest of the night, 25-19. They were down by as many as 7. 19-12.
That's when Harborfields was going to the block to some offensive player in a pivot. They had a pivot offense. Now they have a perimeter offense. They've got to go back into having a pivot offense.
Robinson nearly turned the ball over with a fancy move, but it was knocked away. And Harborfield retains possession with 1:10 to go in the first half. Stan will have both coaches right after the first half ends. We'll get some of their insights into what happened here in the first half, and our special halftime guests for both schools. So we invite you to stay tuned. Remember our local Most Valuable Player Award right after the game. 1 minute to go. Works. That's Mike Smith, number 12, with the ball. 6-foot senior. And let's see, the basket will count. And Matthew Brust has committed his 3rd foul, and a look of frustration on Matty Brust.
I don't think they're counting a basket there.
Apparently not, Stan.
But Ollie Chloe got the ball inside. The guards were patient. They were holding the ball over their heads. The offensive teammates were moving behind the zone and looking for open spots, and that's what they've got to do. They can get all the shots they want from the blocks. If at this point they're patient, they don't want to score from outside right now.
Well, Phil Izzo, number 40, who you see on the foul lane, has replaced Matt Brust as rolling the free throw around and in. Oliver Clough to close the deficit to 5. Phil Izzo, a 6-foot, 160-pound senior, replacing Brust, who sits down with 3 fouls. And we've got 52 seconds to go as Clough misses. Bailey goes for the rebound, but it's pulled down by Izzo, who had the inside position. Babylon with 47 seconds to go in the half, leading by 5.
They should wait until about 10 seconds left.
And we had one of the Babylon players, McGowan, hit the deck hard, and we've had a foul called against the Works.
That's what they've got to do. Keep the ball on offense until they can get a last 5 or 10-second shot or get to the foul line. But they've got to keep the ball on offense so they don't have to get back on defense.
So again, McGowan, who hit the 2 free throws a few moments ago, is at the line. He has 8 points. Billy averaging just 4. He's approaching his high for the year, 10 against Wyandanch. McGowan bounces the ball several times, gets the rhythm, and gets the free throw. Excellent free throw shooting tonight. Perhaps the best we've seen all year as Babylon leads by 6. Their biggest lead, 6 points. They can make it 7 right here. Well, we've had some things thrown on the court on the side in front of the Harborfields bench, and we've had an announcement to that effect that please don't throw anything on the court. McGowan with 39 seconds to go. He's an excellent defensive player. He held Wyandanch's Thompson to 14 points the last time these teams played. And he makes his 9th and 10th points of the night. It's the biggest lead, a 7-point lead. Everett Oliver goes for the steal, and then you got to wonder about that foul. Let's see, that is his 3rd foul. And that's the kind of thing we mentioned earlier, that sometimes he takes the bad foul, the quote, stupid foul, and you'd have to consider that one as not a very smart play.
No, that was silly, but what they're doing, the guards defensively are coming out and putting pressure on Lou Robinson, and Lou is the key. If Lou stays cool, Harborfields going to be in the ball game. If they put pressure on Lou and Lou breaks up, then Harborfields, it's all they wrote.
All right, another substitution for Babylon, number 40. Let's check it. Number 22, Pat Cronin, is in the ball game. Pat, a 5'11", 150-pound junior, averaging a couple of points a game. He's been very improved. Biggest surprise on the team, his ball handling is good. He's in the game right now. As we see Robinson convert the free throw. Robinson, excellent from the free throw line. He has 11 points. He has 5 for 5 from the line. So Robinson and McGowan putting on a free throw show here tonight.
Right now, Louis is thinking of the eye of the hook that's holding the net, the front of the net, and he's got his eye right on the eye of the hook, and he lets the ball fly.
So it's a 5-point Babylon lead with 30 seconds to go. Lazarus in the backcourt having trouble getting it across. Trapped, knocked away by Wirtz. That's 27-24. As Andy Wirtz scores.
Outstanding play by Andy Wirtz, the best athlete on the Harborfields team.
Knocked away by Robinson. And you can see right now with Oliver out of the lineup that the Babylon team with some inexperienced guards has trouble right now. And Bruce is going to come in to play it in. Lazarus trying to bring it across. Double team by Margolin, and Robinson finds Bruscia open. And with 5 seconds, 4, it's in the corner. McGowan with 2, 1. He's not going to get the shot off as he's double teamed there. So that ends a rather exciting first half of basketball with the Babylon Panthers coming from behind to take a 27-24 lead. At the end of the first quarter, we had a score of Harborfields 13, Babylon 7. And then Babylon came back. They outscored the opposition in the second half by a count of 20-11. So stand by. Stan Kellner is standing by right now with Greg Walsh. And let's go courtside as Stan Kellner will chat with the Babylon coach, Greg Walsh.
I'm standing here with Greg Walsh. Nice comeback, coach.
Yeah, we just started getting the ball to Matthew a couple of times, and we settled down on offense. We're trying to do too many things too fast. And that's been hurting us all year. And finally we got back, and we're doing the things we have to do.
Your franchise has 3 fouls. What are you going to tell him at halftime?
Well, see, the thing is, we tell him we don't want any block shots, and he gets a little excited and tries to block shots, and that's when he gets in trouble. He plays good, solid defense. He'll be all right.
Are you going to go back to the 2-3? You're going to come out man-to-man or switch around?
We're going to switch around. 2-3's been pretty good to us, so we'll be doing that for a while, and we'll also be throwing man-to-man. The difficulty with man-to-man is we can't contain Robinson. We can't play him man-to-man.
Good luck, coach.
Now joining Stan
now back to
Kellner.
Barry.
Joining Stan Kellner, Joe Mayer, and Joe not too happy at the moment as his club is down 27-24 after leading at the end of the first quarter by a score of 13-7. Let's go to Stan.
Joe Mayer, you had the momentum, you had everything going your way. Something happened. What was it?
The ball started going in the basket for the Babylon Panthers.
Were you a little upset that you were giving up baseline like you were?
Well, that's why we called our 2 timeouts to try to take that away, but it seems that we just didn't get there.
Coach?
We're just not shutting off the baseline like we should. We hope we can do that in the next half.
When you have an inside offense and the ball's getting to your big guys on the block, you seem to be scoring more. What are you going to tell your team at halftime?
Well, we're going to try to, just settle them down a little bit. We're not playing with any rhythm at all. We're trying to reestablish that. Gregory's been out of the game. He has not been a factor at all, and he's our starting center. We've been trying different people just to see who came to play. And as of yet, we're not where we should be.
Coach, it's an outstanding game. Good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
Now back to Barry Landis.
All right, Stan, thank you very much. At halftime, the score of Babylon 27 and Harborfields 24. Stan and I will be back with halftime guests in just a moment.
Here's a word to the wise about kite and model airplane flying. Pick an open field, well away from power lines. Those little metal control wires on a model airplane, or even a damp kite string, could conduct high-voltage electricity right down to you, with tragic results. If a kite should tangle a power line, don't try to retrieve it. Believe me, it's not worth it. Treat electricity with respect. Even Ben Franklin stayed away from power lines. In an electrical emergency, the right information can save your life. A downed power line on a crashed car can be deadly to both victims and bystanders. So if you're inside the car, stay there. If you're outside, don't touch the car, because contacting both the car and the ground could be fatal. Call the fire department and the power company. They're trained to handle the emergency. Treat electricity with respect. There are lives on the line.
Back here at courtside of our basketball game tonight, and we find that Babylon is leading Harborfields 27-24. I'm Barry Landers. Ron Mugovan is my guest. He is the chairman of the math department at Harborfields High School and a basketball lover. You also keep the scoring book for Joe Mayer's club. And what are your thoughts on the first half of ball here?
I think we have a real barn burner going, a good inter-rivalry game between Babylon and Harborfields. They all come down like this.
Ron, there always seems to be a great rivalry, a friendly rivalry between these two schools. You've had some great basketball teams in the last several years.
Oh, yeah. Harborfield's been very fortunate in having a tremendous basketball program, I guess in the last 12 or 13 years since Joe Mayer came. And he always seems to meld a team together that works well together and plays good defense. And he's taken them all the way to the county finals and has a couple of All-Americans with him.
Well, of course, Brett Barrett went on to Kentucky. Right. Sullivan went on to George Washington, doing well. And you have an outstanding program at Harborfields, academically as well as athletically. Lacrosse players, you've had quite a few that have starred.
Oh, yes. The lacrosse team has really done well. We went to the county finals 2 years ago and lost to Harborfields. Last year in the NCAA tournaments, Division I, II, and III, we had a Harborfields representative on each team. Kevin Griswold played for North Carolina, Joe Hollahan for Hobart, and Kevin Meinson for the Division II at Delphi. All of those were the division champs in NCAA.
Let's talk a little bit about the academic program at Harborfields High School. I know it's one of the largest schools in the Huntington area. What are some of the programs that you're particularly proud of?
Well, I basically think that the entire academic program is really superior at Harborfields. We have everything from remedial classes to advanced placement classes in every subject area, major and minor. We have a tremendous industrial arts, mathematics, English, art, the whole spectrum of academic program. We have about 1,100 students enrolled, and we get about 30% participation in athletics, and we try and get the kids to realize there's a great correlation between athletics and academics in terms of their endeavors in life.
And you have a nice percentage going on to college as well.
Oh, yes. We have about 80% of kids going on to college, and about 60% of those onto a four-year institution.
Ron, I want to thank you for coming on. Best of luck to your team. And on behalf of Cablevision and Loco, we're delighted to be down here to televise the game.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us. It's been our pleasure.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Stan Kellner will be back to chat with Roy Coble, the athletic director here and the principal at Babylon High School, in just a moment.
When it comes to electricity, safety is the name of the game. Power lines and cables are not playthings, and this kind of prank can have fatal consequences. Crucial power to hospitals and other vital community services could be cut off. And suppose this line fell on a metal fence. Remember, don't play around with electricity. There are lives on the line.
I'm standing here with Dr. Jim Bruchier, the principal at Babylon High School, and with Dr. Roy Coble, lawn doctor. Dr. Coble, I just wanted to show you this. Dr. Coble and I were the co-coaches at CW Post for the past 2 years. I won the games and he lost the other games. Dr. Bruchier, I guess you're very proud of your son out here tonight.
Very proud of him. He's having a fine season. We're looking forward to him going to Penn next year, and the whole team is having a great experience. I'd like to thank Cablevision and Lilco for coming here. It's a pleasure having you all here, and it's really pumped a lot of excitement into our fans, as you can hear tonight.
You know why he's a principal, right, Roy? He says the right things. Now, Roy Coble, you know, there's not often I have this opportunity to speak to such a wonderful coach. He's not here tonight. In his place, we got Roy Coble, and I'm joking with him, but he's a super coach, and it's his offense out there tonight. They're not running it like you want to see it running, are you? Are they?
Well, yeah, they are running it pretty much the way it was designed to go, with one or two minor things that we talked about. But
Roy, don't bore anyone with it, because the offense is boring as it is.
You're right, but look at the scoreboard right now.
Touche. That's absolutely correct. He always has the last answer here with me. Dr. Bruchier, tell us a little bit about Babylon. It's a small school, but it's a very beautiful-looking school.
Thank you. It's a very competitive school as well. We field over 33 athletic teams, which is much larger than some of the surrounding districts that are larger than us. We are a small school, as you said. We're a little less than 1,000 students, grades 7 through 12, and we're the school system for the incorporated village of Babylon. We enjoy living in a fine community that's very supportive of our schools, and our kids do very well here. They get a fine education. They score well on all the indicators that we use. In fact, last year we were fortunate enough to have the highest percentage of region scholarship winners in the township of Babylon. I'm very proud of that. So all in all, it's a great situation to be here with a fine staff, and I really enjoy it.
That was educational rhetoric. Now tell us, who's going to win the ball game?
Now I'll give you the real story. No, we're looking forward to a very exciting second half. We really want this game badly, and I think our kids are going to come through tonight.
Now, Dr. Coble.
Am I still here?
You're still here, and I know you get since you're an athletic director, I know you appreciate meetings. Now, tell me, are a lot accomplished at meetings, administrative meetings?
It's a great deal, because it's the only time we really get a chance to rest during the day and catch 40 winks. He does a great job there. Dr. Bush is also running for mayor. You may have heard that in the last.
Is that right? Oh, no, he's not doing it. He's good looking enough to run for mayor. How about yourself? What are you doing now that you're
looking enough to run for mayor, but I'm going to try for governor.
I thought you looked like David Hartman, but someone said you look like Mrs. Hartman.
Which Mrs. Hartman's going to love to hear that, I'm sure.
Roy, do you miss coaching?
Only on nights like this.
Yeah,
I think if I had the team, we'd be behind by 10 right now.
I doubt that. There weren't too many times that you were behind.
Enough, Stanley, enough.
Remember the great games between you and Islip, John Verizon? Really classical confrontations.
John, I learned so much from John Verizon, and I think about him now. It's a little bit sad because, you know, John passed away, but we all learned so much from John, and we learned to be better people.
Fine man. A great loss to the county, great loss to his family. His son will be playing shortstop for the New York Mets this year.
That's fantastic, and I don't know how he is as a shortstop, but he cost me a league championship one year in the last 5 seconds of a game when he stole the ball to save a win for Iceland.
What do you think of the Babylon team this year? They're a bunch of little munchkins running around, quite an athlete, and Matt Bruss. Do you think Matt has a future in big-time college basketball?
I certainly do. I think it's hard to tell tonight because Matt, as you know, he's playing with a bunch of kids that don't have much experience, so he's double-teamed, triple-teamed all the time. He's getting a great basketball education, but you have to be a buff to realize how good he really is. I think he's a major college player, a Mike O'Corin type player. And about the team itself, yes, I think it's a typical Babylon team. They have character, they have poise, they're playing beyond their abilities in a lot of ways, and it's a tribute to Greg Walsh and Don Bosch and Bob Mayer. They're doing a great job, as usual.
Roy Coble, thank you very much. The camp handshake, that's beautiful.
Dan, it's always a thrill to talk to someone who graduated from the University of the Moon.
Dr. Bruchier, thank you very much. That's the Cablevision handshake.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, both of you, and good luck this season. And now back to Barry Landers.
Stan, that's a tough act to follow with those two guys, but we're back here at courtside as the Harborfields team has returned for the second half warm-ups, and at halftime, Babylon leading 27-24 after trailing at the end of the first half by first quarter rather, by a score of 13-7. Let's check out the scoring for you for Harborfields. They were led by Robinson with 12 points. He also committed a couple of fouls. Oliver Clough had 3, Andy Wirtz had 4, Jay Greenwald had 2, and David Bailey had 3 points. So Lou Robinson, the high scorer, with 12. For Babylon, they were led by a surprise. A young man by the name of McGowan came up with an outstanding first half, and Billy McGowan led Babylon. As we check out the Babylon scoring, McGowan had a total of 10 points. Jimmy Bruscia had 6 points. Everett Oliver had 6, as there you see it. Matt Brust had only 4, but the big story there, Stan, 3 fouls on Brust and 3 fouls on Oliver. Those are probably the 2 most accomplished players. And that has to hurt right now, as they've gotten a big game from Billy McGowan.
Yeah, Billy McGowan, the lefty with a 3.4-point average, is taking over with the absence of Matt Brust not really making a big impact in this ball game, but he will before the game's over.
All right, rebounds. Babylon out-rebounded Harborfield, surprisingly so, 12-6. Foul shots, Harborfield's 10 for 11. I can't believe that they shot that well, but I guess they did. And Babylon 11 for 15. Turnovers about even, and that does it as far as the stats for the first half. We've got exciting basketball coming up, and that's the story. Our next doubleheader, West Islip against North Babylon. North Babylon right now leading their division, and Brentwood undefeated and leading their division. Too bad we don't have North Babylon playing Brentwood, Stan. Back in the old days, those two teams used to meet often.
Just hold your breath, Barry, because both of those teams will be facing one another somewhere in the playoffs.
So the stage is set for the start of the second half. Babylon 27, Harborfields 24. Stan Kellner and I will be back with second half action in a moment.
If you're thinking of installing a new TV or CB antenna, there's something we hope you'll keep in mind. Power lines. Every year, some people don't, and the results are tragic. Select the site for your antenna carefully, so if it falls while you're installing it or even years later during a windstorm, it won't come down on a power line. It's an important precaution, especially when you consider the consequences. Treat electricity with respect. There are lives on the line.
Barry Landers and Stan Kellner back at courtside at Babylon High School. Our thanks to Roy Coble and the fine people here at Babylon High School for hosting this doubleheader. And we hope that wherever you're watching, as you look at the Babylon Panther, you're enjoying high school basketball. And again, we don't want to belabor the point, but we want to do more basketball. We want to do a lot other sports as well, but we've got to get your support, folks. You've got to write letters to Lilco, Community Relations Department, Garden City, Stewart Avenue in Garden City, and to your cable company that you're watching the games on now. Tell them that you enjoyed the games, think it's a great public service, and would like to see more. Stan, what do you look for here in the second half?
Well, there are 2 players that are in foul trouble, but I think Matt Brust has to play as if he has no fouls on him, and I think he'll control himself defensively. I see Matt Brust going to the basket, and I see Lou Robinson taking over for the Tornadoes, and I think it's going to be quite a game going down right to the wire.
All right. There you see some of the fans here at Babylon, a very well-behaved but a noisy, enthusiastic crowd. As we get set to start the second half, it'll be Brust 50 against Gregory 24. Babylon in white and Harborfields in green in this League 5 showdown. Babylon with a league record of 3-5, Harborfield 7-2, but you couldn't tell by the way this game's gone. Bailey quickly in the corner, Wirtz loses the dribble but gets it back. From way outside, Margolin, who's an excellent shooter, and the lefty averaging 8 points, cans it from outside.
David Margolin has to score. He's the best pure shooter on the Tornadoes team, but he has to look for his shot.
Those were his first 2 points of the ball game, Stanley. And now they're going to go into some full court pressure here.
It's a full court Tornado press. They're going to double up on a first pass again.
All right, Brust, who can dribble the ball well. He played at guard last year, so he had plenty of experience handling the ball. He played at the big guard spot. McGowan Inside Bruscia, bad pass. He was knocked away. And here come the Harborfields club. They can take the lead here. Robinson inside to Wirtz, to Bailey. Hold it. John DiClemente making the call. 3-second violation. So Harborfields blowing a golden opportunity. There's Joe Mayer with his assistant.
Yeah, he's disappointed on that play. He felt that as long as there was action to the basket, there was no 3 seconds.
All right, back to the action as we give you a bit of an artistic shot there. Here's Matt Lazarus bringing it across. Oliver playing with 3 fouls with the ball now. Bruscia, number 32, will re-identify all the players for you. Lazarus, Everett Oliver, 30. Good pass inside. Brust banked it up. No basket. Clemente makes the call. Foul before the shot. And that time, one of the few times they've been able to get the ball inside to Brust in a good scoring position. Stan.
Well, that's up to Matt. Matt's got to drop that ball up if he's bringing it up on the press, but he's got to get back into the offense. That time he did.
That's the 3rd personal foul. And it'll be on Andrew Wirtz. And again, some things have come out on the court, so we have had a delay. It'll be played in by Brust. Babylon leading by 1. Opening minute of the 3rd quarter. Babylon trailed at the end of the 1st quarter 13-6. Led by 3 at halftime, 27-24. Matt Brust in the corner. Good pass off to McGowan. Fakes a couple of times. The lefty banks it up and in. He's having the game of his life. 12 points for Billy McGowan.
The play was made possible by Matt Brust making a dribble, 2-3 dribble move to the middle and then dropping the ball off to a man under the block that just took a step away from the basket, and he just powered into the basket. Nice
and
play
we've
by
had
Matt
a
Brust.
charging foul back on the other end. I believe it's going to go on Lou Robinson. Yes, it is. Robinson's 3rd foul as he came right down the middle. So Babylon by 3 as McGowan gives it off to Lazarus. Oliver getting by Wirtz, but a whistle and traveling call. So Babylon turns it over, and Harborfield's Lou Robinson will play it in. Lou has gained some interest in schools like Seton Hall, Maine, Bridgeport, Hartford. And there's Gregory, the man that Joe Mayer says has to get going for this team. The big 6'7" senior getting his first 2 points of the night. Back to Oliver. And he puts Babylon up by 3 again, 31-28.
Here you'll see Oliver going down the middle, changing over to his left hand and just swarming in there for a shot.
And back to the live action. We've had a foul called. John DiClemente, another offensive foul called against Harborfields. That's the 2nd in a row. Harborfields plays a very physical game, Stan. And, of course, Babylon's a kind of gutsy kids. They take the charges. They'll stand in there and give up their body to take the foul.
Yes, they will. Harborfields is a very physical team, but they're strong, but they're not quick, and sometimes their feet get in the way of their running.
Everett Oliver makes it 33-28. The senior averaging 13 now with 10 points as he's come alive here. And Gregory committed that foul a moment ago. He has 4 fouls, and he's still in the ball game. Knocked away by McGowan inside, and Babylon playing hustling defense, leading by 5. Their biggest lead has been 7. Brust, spinning move, gets it back, 35-28. Matt Brust with 6 points. This equals their biggest lead. Harborfields trying to cut it to 4 here, and the shot missed that time by Margolin. And here's Everett Oliver coming up with the ball.
Babylon's on a roll, Harborfields isn't.
Matt Brust wants the ball, scoops inside. Yes, he's got it for 2 more. 37-28, their biggest lead, 9 points.
Here's Matt Brust taking over. He plays very big. He's about 6'4", but look how big he is. Takes a big step in there, uses his body to protect the ball.
And back to the live action, Bailey hitting. He's got 5 now, and it cuts the deficit to 37-30. Babylon with the ball, trying to avenge a 5-point loss earlier this year to Harborfield. Bruscia, nice move. Banks it off, no good. Gets a own rebound as the Babylon players just watch the ball. nobody went to box out there, and the ball bounced off the glass right into Bruce's hands.
Well, the Tornadoes didn't block out, but in that situation against a zone, in a zone, there's a guard that has to take that foul line, and he didn't do it. I think that was David Margolin, who should have been at the free throw line.
And David's going to sit down right now, as Coach Joe Mayer unhappy with that, so he's brought in Mike Smith, the 6', 170-pound senior. That's the 4th team foul already, Stan, and Babylon has none, and we've played 3 minutes and 35 seconds of this 3rd quarter.
And they have a 7-point lead.
Lazarus missing, but Brust puts it back up and in. So Matthew Brust becoming a factor here in the second half. He's had 6 points in the second half, a total of 10. It's again a 9-point lead at 39-30. That's Mike Smith, a good shooter outside. Harborfield's in trouble right now. Wirtz, they have not gotten much inside at all. Oliver Clough takes the pass in the lane, and we've got a foul called on Babylon. It's going to be on number 22. Well, there is no 22 in there. It's apparently 32. It's going to be on Billy McGowan, number 20. Got to read John DiClemente's hand signal. We blew it. Robinson missing. Brust battling for the rebound, and he was fouled, I believe, by Robinson. And Robinson can't believe it.
On Lou.
That will be 4 on Lou Robinson, and timeout taken. Joe Mayer's team in trouble right now. And there's Joe, the veteran of 21 years, talking things over.
Lou missed that shot, and he just got a little frustrated and reached in for the ball he wanted. Put his hand in a cookie jar, so to speak. But what's happening, Barry, defensively, the chemistry isn't there any longer with the Tornadoes. They're afraid to get into foul trouble, and they're not aggressive. They're allowing Babylon to get to them rather than getting to the spot before Babylon player gets there, and the Babylon player is going to the basket, scoring and getting on the free throw line.
Well, Stan, late word that apparently Oliver Clough picked up that foul and not Lou Robinson, so Robinson remains with 3, so that's a break.
That's a big
for Joe Mayer.
Big break for the Tornadoes.
Well, we'd like to remind you that the Hofstra Cup balloting has come out for this week, and it finds Long Island Lutheran in first place with 97 votes. And Stan, we saw Lutheran earlier tonight in a 20-point win, but they didn't play all out against a game Half Hollows Hills West team that is certainly going to be a fine club in a couple of years. They're ranked number 1. St. Dominic's number 2 with 88 votes. St. Agnes number 3, 81. North Babylon 4th, 71. Malvern 5th with 45. Brentwood 6th with 41. Farmingdale 7th with 38. Wyandanch 8th with 24 points. Number 9 is Hempstead, and number 10 Manhasset. Any comments on the standings?
No, I'm glad to see St. Dominic's finally getting ahead of St. Agnes. They beat St. Agnes fair and square, and they should have been number 2.
And the top Suffolk County team, North Babylon. Second Suffolk County team, according to the poll, Brentwood. We'll be seeing those teams. What a nice lead I find myself right into our next doubleheader. You'll see those 2 teams, folks, right here in our next local Cablevision doubleheader. And that'll be coming up around February 12th and 13th. Well, we've had a discussion here with John DiClemente and Joe Mayer. If we can get a shot of the Harborfields bench, and the discussion just about breaking up now. Stan, you have any idea what things are all about?
No, Lou Robinson's standing at the free throw line like he's ready to shoot.
And Hank Schwab is smiling. There's Greg Walsh. He doesn't know what's happened.
I'm always suspicious when Hank Schwab smiles. That's like coming home and my wife saying, did you have a good day? And I'm saying, why is she saying that?
Well, we're still trying to find out, as is everybody else here. Now Greg Walsh wants an explanation.
There's Joe Mayer, cool, calm, and collected, but inside he wants to hit someone.
Now John and Hank going to talk things over. There's Greg and John DiClemente. And the gentleman to his left is the assistant coach at Harborfields, Richie Hoffman. We can tell you that it's 39-30. Babylon by 9, 3:53 to go, and Lou Robinson at the free throw line. And now what's happened here? They're going back to the other way. And Lou Robinson gets a pat on the rump, or check it, Mike Smith gets a pat on the rump. So apparently we had a foul on Robinson. Well, the coach thought it was a 3-second violation, apparently, but we had a foul on Harborfields, and since Harborfields is over the limit, it's 1-1. Oliver Clough was the guy who committed that foul a while ago, and not Lou Robinson, so Lou stays in the game as Brust rolls it in. He's 1 for 1 from the line.
Only a sophomore. Before he's finished, he's going to score 1,500 points for the Panthers.
Well, he had a 41-point game this year against Amityville. Had 25 and 23 against Wyandanch. He's a 75% free throw shooter. In and out, but Brusha taps it back outside. Babylon with a 10-point lead. 3:40 to go. Oliver loses the ball, and it'll be Harborfields taking over.
Important defensive play by Lou Robinson.
That's Robinson playing out in the corner. Andy Wirtz, they got to get some outside shooting. They have not gotten it. And Bailey has kind of been shut off. He had 5 quick points early. That's Mike Smith penetrating nicely. 40-32 as Mike Smith, the 6-foot senior, comes up with a bucket.
You'll see a skip pass. There's one of those patent cross-court passes, skip passes. He penetrates and drops it, and he's 1 point over his average. 1.5. He's averaging a game.
Everett Oliver with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Babylon by 8. Really tough defense there as Harborfield's playing tough man defense at the moment. Knocked away, and it'll be Alpha Babylon as the Harborfields club comes up with the ball now. 14th turnover for Babylon. Harborfields has 11 unofficially.
Barry, this is a key possession. They've got to come up with a score in this play.
Inside, Clough, who's been tough inside. Banks it off the glass. Clough averaging 4. Right now with 5 points on the night. And it's down to a 6-point lead. Brust recovers, gets it to Everett. Oliver missing the tip, no good. Brust going back up, and he's got it. Yes, the basket counts, and he was fouled. Well, you saw the second and third effort of the young man that Stan, you feel may be the best sophomore ever to play in Suffolk County at this stage.
You've got to imagine this. Now, here is a 15 or 16-year-old young man playing against a senior front line of Harborfields, and he's battling them even. Here's the replay. Here's Matt Brust. He's got his elbows up over everybody else. He stays up there, squares off, and shoots.
So Brust at the line right now has hit a couple of free throws already. Misses that one, and is hit in the eye, and comes back up court. Looks like he may be bleeding, but he's back there to play defense. Robinson, and we get a whistle. Oliver committing a foul, and another foolish foul. That's the 4th on Oliver. The second kind of foul that will drive a coach crazy.
That's true. It was a sort of like a nickel foul. He didn't have his defensively, didn't have his head on the side of the ball, and he reached in. The rule I always had, Barry, was you could reach in if your head is on the same side of the ball.
And he sat down. Everett Oliver sitting down with 4 fouls.
Oh, they're going to miss him because he has been playing outstanding. He's been a real surprise.
Well, Matt Brust has been on fire here in the third quarter with 9 points. We told you he got a shot in the eye, but he's a pretty tough kid. He's hanging in there.
Does Munchie have 4 fouls on him?
Yes, he's sitting down. Munchie with 4 fouls. 2 of those, the kind of variety that you hate to see with your team leading by 8 points. Now at 6.
Chloe. Super shot by Chloe.
Oliver Clough with a great shot.
Take a look at this. This is what we call a prayer shot. Inside. He gets the ball. He shoots on the way down. He practices that every day.
And back to the live action. The ball knocked out of bounds, but we had a foul called, and Billy McGowan will be going to the free throw line. Bailey commits the foul. That is his first. And McGowan, who's been red hot from the free throw line, will be at the line now. McGowan was 4 for 5 in the first half, as Babylon was 11 for 15 from the line. He'll shoot 2 here. And he hits the first. Well, they say that Billy McGowan needs more polish on his offense, needs some experience. He plays so many sports, he doesn't have time to devote it to basketball.
Well, he's a good student, a 90 average student, and he's only a sophomore.
And he has 13 points. He's going to be back with Brust next year, along with a couple of the kids from the JV that they hope will be players.
Tommy Ryan and Matt Houston both went to our camp at CW Post. In fact, Tommy Ryan, the last day of camp, played his bagpipes. We all came out and sang the camp song.
Krusik emits that foul. That is his second and the third team. We've got 1:42 to go in the third quarter. A 7-point lead for Babylon as Harborfields controls the ball. Robinson, who was the big factor in the first half, with that same kind of move, makes it 43-38. Robinson.
That shot had Division I written all over it.
14 points. We'll look at it again.
Now, this is a kind of shot you don't really like to practice, but Louis has played a lot of basketball, had a sense that the only way he could have dropped that ball off is go over the top, which he did.
And back to the live action. Bruss driving inside is fouled. And we'll have Matt Bruss to the line again. And Matthew Bruss will shoot two.
What Matt is doing right now is relaxing and imagining the ball going over the front of the rim. Now he's got to just concentrate on the front of the rim, the hook under the rim, and just let the ball go.
And we look at Bruss putting it through. 14 points for Bruss, 10 here in the third quarter in about 6.5 minutes. Babylon by 6. And now it is now a 7-point lead again. It had been as many as 10.
If they can cut it to 5 and go into the last period under 5 points, the Tornadoes have a chance.
Flo, who's been hot getting it inside, loses the ball, and Matt Bruss comes up with it. Here's Lazarus in trouble. Wirtz goes for the steal, and Andy Wirtz upset with himself, and the call throws the ball down. He's a tough competitor, Andy is. #1 defensive player. He's been consistent, very quick. He plays safety in football. He almost came up with a safety there, Stan.
It was a nice try. John DiClemente, the official, had a good angle on the play, and he called a foul. But Coach Schmeyer was over there, and he just felt, of course, being a little subjective, he thought that he had a clean sweep and steal.
Well, here's Matty Lazarus at the line, and he converts the first. He's a 61% free throw shooter. He has 2 points on the night, 2 from the line. Andy Wirtz with 4 fouls. He is remaining in the ball game, #10 for Harborfields. Stan, you can see that Babylon wins the games on the foul line. And if they're shooting well from the line, they're going to win a good percentage of their game.
Barry, how do they get to the foul line? They get to the foul line by running a real churning type of offense.
Wirtz throws it away right onto the Harborfields bench. Nice catch on the bench by Darren Stewart. Paul Mullard sitting there. And Babylon with the ball, 50 seconds to go. They lead by 8. They led by 3 at the end of 1. They were down by 6 at the end of the first quarter. 3 by half, and traveling as McGowan fell down, and there's call for traveling. So Harborfield gets it back quickly off the bench. Number 44, Phil Scherf, the 6'4 senior for Harborfield, checks into the ball game. He's a 170-pounder, and he'll be playing at the high post right here. As we look at Mike Smith. Lou Robinson, 34 seconds to go. Clough, double team. Clough's been the key offensive man here in the third quarter, as has this guy. Robinson missing. Long rebound by Matthew Bruss. Bruss averaging about 15 rebounds a game. 12 seconds to go as Bruss dribbling outside is fouled. And Stan, as we pointed out, he played at big guard last year, so he handles the ball pretty well for a 6'5 young man. And, of course, his brother, a bigger type of player. It's difficult to compare Chris and Matt. They're not the same type of player, are they?
No, not at all, but both of them just excellent inside players because they put on a Panther uniform. Matt is going to maybe go a little further than Chris because one other thing, there's another factor. Chris was always accident prone. Matt isn't. He's very durable.
Matt with 15 points, 11 here in the third quarter, and the Panther fans love it. 47-38. Robinson has sat down. 8 rebounds for Bruss. And he now makes it 48-38. So it's back to a 10-point lead, Stan. Those free throws so critical. Hate to belabor the point.
Greg Walsh made a great move now. What he did was he took Matt out. He wants Matt to rest, but he doesn't want Matt to pick up his 4th foul at this point of the game.
So he's got Phil Izzo inside, the 6'1", 160-pound senior. And Klo getting nice position, puts it up, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter. So Babylon extends a 3-point halftime lead into an 8-point lead after 3, and they lead it 48-40 as we get set for the start of the 4th quarter. And Stan and I'll be back with more in just a moment.
Here's a word to the wise about kite and model airplane flying. Pick an open field, well away from power lines. Those little metal control wires on a model airplane, or even a damp kite string, could conduct high-voltage electricity right down to you, with tragic results. If a kite should tangle a power line, don't try to retrieve it. Believe me, it's not worth it. Treat electricity with respect. Even Ben Franklin stayed away from power lines.
There's the arithmetic. The home team, Babylon, 48. The rivals from Harborfields, 40. Barry Landers and Stan Kellner, as we get ready for the 4th quarter of our League 5 confrontation. High school basketball sponsored by the good folks at the Long Island Lighting Company. Harborfields coached by Joe Mayer, and Babylon by Greg Walsh, as Harborfields tries to come back from this 8-point deficit. Robinson with 14 points, leading the Harborfields club in scoring. Brust with 17 points, 13 in the 3rd quarter, leading Babylon. Margolin missing outside. Klo with a big rebound. Won't go. The tap batted around. Bailey is fouled. He was hammered by McGowan, who got a piece of him. And Bailey will go to the line.
Barry, if they're coming back, and I'm referring to the Tornadoes, they have to come back off of the boards. And that's where their giants are getting in against these little munchkins. And I mean that with the greatest respect. And they've got to come back and just get 2nd and 3rd shots.
Well, McGowan and Bruscia were both in on that rebound. It'll be a non-shooting foul. That is only their 4th team foul. Check it, only the 3rd team foul against Babylon. So, Stan, when you don't commit the fouls and send the other team to the line, and you go to the line all the time, it's quite a plus-minus factor.
Well, it's a question of aggressor and aggressee. I've always believed that the aggressor wins.
Check it, it's the 4th team foul.
Not in love, but in basketball.
Stan
Maybe
Kellner
in love,
not only
too.
gives you cybernetics on these telecasts, he gives you philosophy, advice, lovelorn. Bailey.
Then why am I so lonely?
Stan, that's because you basketball officials like you, and some coaches like you, and some announcers like you.
And some don't.
James Bruscia commits the foul. That's his 4th, and suddenly Babylon in some foul trouble with a couple of their key guys. As Oliver Klo, Stan, I've been impressed by this young man. He's come to play tonight. Oliver Klo with 9 points, averaging just 4. He's already had his career high. Now with 10. And it's a 48-41 ball game.
He's got a great body, 6'5", 190, football player. He made his first shot, and that just gave him a load of confidence.
Yeah, Oliver gets into foul trouble at times, but he plays the power game. Bailey with the rebound. Did he push off to get it? Apparently he did. Johnny DiClemente with the call. Joe Mayer, hands on his head. And assistant coach Hoffman, they're the two guys not happy with that call. Bailey called for the rebounding foul. And going to the free throw line will be Matt Brust on Bailey. That is his 3rd foul.
I spoke to both officials prior to the game, and Joe wasn't really impressed with the fact that John DiClemente and Hank Schwab were going to officiate, and he just feels that they call a very close game, and he's got a very physical team. It's understandable.
Matt Brust puts it in. He has been tough from the line. Matt with 18 points. Big second half for the sophomore. His brother, I think his name was Jerry, played at St. John the Baptist. And, of course, Chris played here at Babylon High School. Went on to the University of North Carolina, where he's playing a backup role there. One of many Long Islanders who've gone down to North Carolina, including your Mitch Kupchak and Stan Kellner and, of course, Matt Doherty. And a lot of New Yorkers. Pass inside, tapped away, and Brust comes up with it. Babylon now by 9.
Yeah. Matt Brust, man on the spot, and he's doing it all for the Babylon Panthers.
In the corner, McGowan. Pat Cronin, that's Pat Cronin with the ball, number 22 in the ball game. Now we have a whistle. Schwab calling a foul away from the ball. It's going to be on Harborfields as they caught somebody pushing off on Brust. It might have been on Mike Smith, number 12. Let's wait for the official confirmation on that foul.
I saw the action on that play, and Matt was being restrained. He was being held back from cutting naturally to the inside spot.
Well, we may get a reading on the number of free throws hit by Babylon here in a moment. Brust is 7 for 9. Now make it 8 for 10 as he converts, 51-41. Babylon winning this game on the line. And he rolls that in. 21 points for Matt Brust as he gets close to his average. Matt averaging 24 points. He's a 75% free throw shooter, and he's hit 8 for 10 on the line tonight. Harborfields missing inside, and the game looks to be right now in the hands of Babylon. They lead by 11, 6:40 to go. Down low, Brust. He was charged with the offensive foul. Hank Schwab calling the 4th foul on Brust with 6:44 to go in the game. Here come 3 Harborfield substitutions. Lou Robinson, Bob Gregory, and Andy Wirtz all checking in. 3 of their starters, so if they're going to make their run, Stan Kellner, they're going to make it right now.
If they're going to make that run, just remember Dave Bailey taking that charge on that play, because that was a 4-point play. Maybe a 4-point play plus, because not only did Matt Brust lose possession of the ball, but Matt Brust got his 4th foul.
And Pat Cronin will sit down. Back in the ball game is Jimmy Bruscia. Let's see, Bruscia's playing with how many fouls? Bruscia's playing with 4. Brust is playing with 4, and Oliver, who's been sitting down, is now back in the game, has 4. Bailey misses, but comes up with a big rebound. Wirtz, nothing will go for Harborfields tonight, and they bang the boards and are going to be called for a foul. No, it's going to be on Babylon, apparently. John DiClemente says 1 and 1 on the rebounding foul. Let's see who that foul is going to be on. Matt Lazarus commits the foul. That'll be his first, and Bailey will go to the line.
That was a very important play, and almost a fortunate play, because I thought the ball was going to be brought down to the Babylon end.
Well, you see the importance of the free throws. Bailey missing the front end of 1-and-1s on each occasion, and it's an 11-point Babylon lead. Over and back, going to be called on Oliver. There's Johnny DiClemente with a call. And Lou Robinson will trigger it in at midcourt. Harborfields can't wait too long, Stan, to get back in this.
They've got 6.5 minutes left in the ball game, and they've got to make a move now, especially with the deliberate play of the Panthers.
Well, there's 2 points right there for the big guy inside, Bobby Gregory, 6'7" senior, with 4 points. It's not been a good night for Bobby. He's an outstanding baseball player, too. McGowan, and what a night it's been for Billy McGowan, the unsung hero on this team, the tough competitor who's really improved a great deal, shown a lot more confidence this year. He now has 15 points, a career high. Gregory from 20. And the 6'7" Gregory showing he can pop it from outside. Now Harborfield's putting on some pressure. Looking to trap and come up with the steal. Oliver playing with 4 fouls. Sat down a good part of the 3rd quarter. Stan, you had to appreciate that Babylon was able to go with Oliver on the bench for a long time there and increase their lead. But this is Wirtz up ahead. Margolin, big shot here. won't go, and Bruscher comes up with the ball.
That was a big shot, and they had to score or get a rebound or get on a foul line. Right now, what they can't do is put Babylon on a foul line.
That's why Babylon's so tough when they get the lead. Bruscher missing, and quickly this is Oliver Clough looking for help to Robinson.
He did the smart thing. He held up on the ball.
Oh, look at this play by youngster McGowan. Up ahead to Everett Oliver. 56-45. Babylon back to an 11-point lead.
Lou passed, and he looked exactly where he was going to pass.
Telegraphed the pass right there.
Right.
Gregory, nice pass inside to Oliver Clough. And Clough comes up with the 2 points. Lazarus. Clough with 12 points. Rust with a beautiful pass to Bruscher. 58-47, Babylon by 11, 4:24 to go.
And what Matt did in that play was look straight ahead and throw the ball over to the left. He did not telegraph his pass.
Margolin with the drive wouldn't go. Gregory knocked away by Oliver from behind, and Babylon comes up with the ball. Nearly stolen away, but Brust got it. And Brust wants timeout. So Babylon sitting on an 11-point lead, 58-47, wants to talk things over, as they are in the driver's seat right now with 4:05 to play. Well, Stan, Babylon beat Comac North, Connetquot, and West Babylon, and they have won in league competition twice over Half Hollow Hills West, Islip, and Glen, and their losses have come non-league to Smithtown East and West Islip, along with Sayville. They've lost twice to Wyandanch, once to Harborfields, once to Amityville, and once to Half Hollow Hills West.
We just saw Joe Mayer in the huddle. What he's saying to his Tornadoes is this: we've got to get the ball inside. Don't lose your cool. Just look inside. You'll get on a free throw line. If you can't make the basket flush, you'll be in perfect position for the second and third shot. Defensively, let's play good position. Let's get pressure on the ball, but let's not let them get the ball inside.
Joe Mayer with his club down by 11, 4:05 to go. Harborfield's a tough club, trying to stave off their third league defeat, which would virtually take them out of any chance for the league championship, with Wyandanch undefeated, Stan.
Yeah, that would be a real setback for the Harborfields team.
Right now, Wyandanch
But
undefeated at 10-0.
They're being beaten by a very disciplined ball club.
Look at that move by Brush. Yes, the basket counts, and he was fouled. Well, you saw the athletic ability of that young man and the joy expressed by the Babylon players.
Take a look at the determination. First of all, he posts up and he meets the ball, squeezes right through and gets it softly off the board. That young man is 16 years old, and he is playing like he's a Division I player. Someone told me that maybe he's 1 year away now from playing Division I.
And he's only a sophomore in high school.
Oh, he's just a great kid at camp. He's so attentive. It hasn't gone to his head. It's just a great experience to be around him.
Matt, 6'5", 180 pounds, 23 points, 18, or make that 19 here in the second half. And Andy Wirtz has fouled out of the ball game. He leaves with just 4 points. Disappointing night for Andy. He's been averaging 8.5, one of the tri-captains. And right now, let's see who's replaced him. We've got Smith, Bailey, Clough, Gregory, and Margolin in the lineup for Harborfields. As we have a whistle before the free throw, a lane violation. And the free throw will not count. Hank Schwab making the call. Apparently one of the Babylon players in the lane too soon.
Not too many people know this, Barry, but Hank Schwab wrote the official rule book.
Did you study it, Stan?
No, I just made that up.
Bailey, Gregory throwing it right into the hands of Bruscher. Babylon's got this game unless they collapse right here. Lazarus turning the ball over, travel, shuffling the foot. I invite you to stay tuned for our local Most Valuable Player Award coming up tonight. Right after the game, don't forget, it'll be North Babylon against West Islip, Brentwood, and Connetquot in our next games. Bailey for the layup. Bailey with 7.
Here's what Harborfields wanted to do all game long. Get the ball into the big guy who was being fronted, and he just turned around and put it in.
Stan, why haven't they been able to do that tonight effectively with either Gregory or Bailey?
Well, 2 reasons. One, Lou Robinson had to stay cool and just keep that offense going. And number 2, the defense of Babylon. They've been very tough inside.
Everett Oliver hitting that big basket for Babylon, missing outside Margolin. Gregory puts it back up and in. 62-51, a still 11-point lead for Babylon. Everett Oliver. Babylon's had a great tradition of guards with the Vickers brothers a few years ago. Glenn and Brian. We understand Glenn is doing well with IBM in New York City. What an outstanding young man off the court he was too, Stan. Glenn Vickers. I don't know if you had a chance to know Glenn at all, but
Glenn, oh, I know him too well. Too well. He's in the same boat. When I talk with great respect about players, Mitch Kupchaks, Matt Bruss, Glenn Vickers, you know, just the top of our business.
Well, we look at Everett Oliver, young man who's come on with 14 points. Look at Bruss get up there and bat the ball back outside. So many little things this guy does.
They're playing a 4 corners. They're bringing the guards out. They're going to open up their offense. Well, they're not in the 4 corners all the way.
Robinson trying to play Bruss down low. Good matchup there.
They're being at this time, very patient.
Oliver penetrating to bank it in. 16 points for Oliver. He had a high of 24, the co-captain, against Half Hollow Hills West. And Harborfields down by 13 here on the verge of their 3rd loss in league play and 5th in the year. They lost to West Islip by 5 and Farmingdale by 5 in their own tournament and lost to Wyandanch twice.
Matt Bruss with another rebound. He must be close to 20 on rebounds tonight.
And a foul called against Harborfields. Well, Bob will try to figure it out, Bob Thomas. Don't forget, high school basketball coming your way. Stan and I will be around for the playoffs. We'll have the Nassau County Championships on March the 6th. March 7th, the Catholic High School Championships. On March 10th, the Nassau-Suffolk Class B Championship from Ward Melville. That should be a dandy. Malvern figures to be perhaps the team to beat. As Lazarus misses again, Bruss getting the ball outside, Stan.
He kept the ball in play. He couldn't catch it, so he tipped it back.
Excellent athlete, that young man. Look at another guy who's had a phenomenal game come up with the ball. Billy McGowan. If we could award 2 MVPs, I'd like to do it tonight. Mr. Bruss and Mr. McGowan have been the story, along with Everett Oliver. There's Bruss yanking down the
Another rebound for Matt.
And he is fouled by Dave Bailey, and Bailey's going to leave. Bailey leaving with a total of 5 points in the ball game. So, Babylon High School is going to win this game, Stan, the game that they wanted so much to win. Greg Walsh told you before the game, if I wanted to win any game this year, this was the game I wanted to win.
And he got his wish. And they should be very proud. I was at their practice yesterday, and it was an enthusiastic practice. The kids do not go through the motions. They can't afford to go through the motions. They're too small, and they're not quick enough to go through the motions and be great.
Bruss hits the free throw, but again, John DiClemente in the lane violation. And apparently it's against Billy McGowan. And Greg Walsh telling his club, take it easy, guys. Come on now. You've got a 15-point lead.
Right at this point, Billy McGowan can do anything he wants. He's just been superb.
What a game. A career high. Young man averaging 4 points as Robinson banks it in. And it's now a 13-point lead. Oliver brings it across. Another foul. Bob Thomas, how many free throws has Babylon shot, and how many have they made? Bob's going to try to total things up pretty quickly here. We've got a moment. Dave Margolin commits his 4th personal foul, and Everett Oliver will shoot 1 and 1. Babylon 22 for 30 at the free throw line, Stan.
Yeah, and this young man at the free throw line now, Everett Oliver, has earned his keep for this game. He made some very important free throws, and important baskets earlier in the game.
Everett, a 5'9", 155-pound senior, co-captain, took charge when he had to late in the ball game. 17 points for Everett, 4 points above his average. Penetrates well, as you've seen the last few times down the court.
He's a senior, and I think he's the only senior on the court. Well, Jim Bruchier. They're both seniors, and all the rest will be back. Again, with the addition of Tommy Ryan and Matt Houston, they're going to be a formidable ball club.
Inside, Robinson trying to find a man inside, knocked away, and Babylon comes up with the ball.
They're a formidable ball club tonight.
Bear in mind that this Harborfields team gives up just about 50 points a game. They've given up 68 points to a Babylon team that averages only 57.
With a very, very slow beginning, if you remember. Matt Bruss hadn't scored in the earlier part of the game. You're wondering who Matt Bruss was.
And we're going to get a look at the Babylon cheerleaders for, I believe, the first time tonight. And we'll get a look at those lovely young ladies as they come out on the floor. And we'd like to tell you exactly who they are. We had their names here a minute ago. We're trying to find through our notes those young ladies, but they're performing right now. And we hope that you're enjoying high school basketball right here on Sports Channel. I mean on Cablevision throughout Long Island. Barry Landers and Stan Kellner. Unfortunately, the young ladies will have to go unannounced because we can't find our card that has their names on it. Apparently it has been misplaced somewhere. So if we find it in the next 44 seconds, we'll let you know all the names. But play underway right now as Babylon has made a lot of substitutions here. They bring it in. And Harborfields also, Phil Scherf loses the ball. We'll give you the names of the boys in for Babylon. In there right now, Pat Cronin, number 22 for Babylon. Also in there for Babylon, number 52, James Talbot. Number 40 for Babylon, Phil Izzo. Number 44, Andrew Kokari. And I think one more. We'll pick up the other one. As we'll look at Harborfields, Phil Scherf at the free throw line. And he puts it in with 39 seconds to go. Don't forget to stay tuned for our post-game Long Island Lighting Company MVP award. And to chat with winning coach Greg Walsh, who has to be pleased with this one. Scherf with another one, the crowd chanting goodbye Harborfield. Battle for the board. And Andrew Guy, or rather Alfred Guy, number 34, check it. Guy, I think, is going to be called for the foul. Let's wait and see. But Alfred Guy, number 34, in the ball game for Babylon. Now it's going to be on Paige Millard, number 34 for Harborfield. Paige Millard. So that'll send to the free throw line number 40, Phil Izzo, the 6-foot, 160-pound senior who had a high of 12 points against Comac North earlier this year. 32 seconds to go, and Stan, your impressions?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. Number 44, Andy Kokari, I believe is the son of the former athletic director at Brentwood High School, is now retired and in the business world. Number 44, Andy Kokari. I hope I'm right.
I believe you are, Stan. Somebody told me that and didn't recall right off the bat. 16-point lead for Babylon. And a foul back on the other end. This will send to the line once again. This time, Paige Mullard. And he'll be at the line. Paige Mullard. Make it Paige Millard. Millard throws up a brick. And he'll get another shot. Page is a 6'8", 200-pound senior that's worked really hard. He's got a positive attitude. He gets in for a minute or two at times. Fine young man. Jim Moon, another fine young man who's outstanding athlete, coming off a broken foot, also on the roster. Darren Stewart, a couple of the other players getting a little playing time. Stan, you're giving me your impressions as this winds down.
Well, it was the inside game of Babylon, and they just managed to get and do what they want to do in the second half. They got ahead, and they're a team that you have to stay on top of.
All right, Babylon trying to break the press, and they do it nicely. Talbot missing. And up ahead, Robinson for the cripple. 70 to 58, 15 seconds to go, and we've had a timeout. So a timeout taken on the court. And I'd like to thank the folks here at Babylon High School, Roy Coble, and Dr. Brusha, the fine principal, for a very hospitable stay, Stan. The folks here at Babylon couldn't have been any nicer.
No, the fans, the folks, the players, it was the officials, everything turned out really well. I've been excited during this ball game. I've been really up for this ball game and expecting this ball game to be a good one, and it was a good one. But the Panthers just got inside, and Harborfields had to go man-to-man in that fourth period, and they just don't have the ability to stay with the Panthers' inside game. But, you know, the Panthers are a team of the future.
They certainly are, and you've got to like the way that they've come back. They were down early in the first quarter by 6, led by 3 at the half, built that lead into about a 20-point effort at time. Down court, going for the layup. It won't fall that time for Kokari, or for James Talbot, rather. Down court, back the other way with 6 seconds. It's up by Robinson, and he'll go to the line. It did not fall. Robinson hasn't quit trying. And Robinson will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
I know Lou was disappointed in the outcome of this game, but he just played valiantly, and it was just too much Panthers tonight.
Robinson with 18 points, had a big first quarter. Matt Brust with 23 points, Billy McGowan with 17, and Everett Oliver with 18 points. The 3 big scorers for Babylon High School tonight. And what a night when you have a guy scoring 4 points and he comes up and gives you an effort like Billy McGowan did, 17 points, 13 above his average.
And 2 more years left in his career here at Babylon.
And he gives you 100%. That seems to be typical of the Babylon youngsters.
They're all good kids.
Robinson puts it in with 5 seconds to go. It's down to a 10-point lead, and we got a foul called on number 44 for Harborfields, Phil Scherf, the 6'4", 170-pound senior. And so Babylon goes to the line again. I think they've got about 25, 26 points at least from the free throw line.
Coach Walsh feels this is the only way they can not only stay in a ball game, but win a ball game. They've got to go and end up on a free throw line, and that's a point of their offense. Get to the basket.
Free throw miss by Alfred Guy, the 5'11" senior, and that is it. So the Babylon Panthers have won it. They are delighted. The Harborfield youngsters disappointed, but Lou Robinson shaking hands all around. And it was quite a ball game, Stan, and we'll be back with our local Most Valuable Player Award. And our final score from here at Babylon High School. Babylon High School wins it, and we'll be back with all the post-game activity. In just a moment, the final score again. Babylon 70 at Harborfield 60.
Battle the Babylon Panthers. Tonight's telecast is being brought to you by the Long Island Lighting Company, St. John's University, Genovese Drug Stores, and Adelphi University. Hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Landers, along with Stan Kellner, former Brentwood High School coach, and tonight Babylon coming off 2 dramatic victories this week. Chance stand for them to tie for the league title with Amityville, going up against a very tough Wyandanch team, last year's New York State champs, but a club that has struggled this year with a lot of injuries. And tonight they'll be without their brilliant guy, George Cooper.
Well, you're going to see a brilliant ball player, Matt Bruss, playing for the Babylon Panthers, and they are an outstanding ball club with Matt Bruss in there. But without Matt Bruss doing his thing, you're going to find a club that struggles, but not